Hello, Roland. Luis Romero here with Henry County Sheriff Wayne Davis, and we're talking about a recent drug bust and his efforts that he's expanding to make sure that drug dealers know that there is a war on drugs, and that, again, those efforts are growing so that Sheriff can get those drug dealers off the streets. First, very briefly, we want to talk a little bit about the drug bust that happened maybe even an hour ago on Halifax Drive. What were you able to seize, and then we'll talk about, the efforts that you have with a new team.
Sure. So this afternoon, deputies from the Henry County Sheriff's Office obtained a search warrant and executed that search warrant at 127 Halifax Drive in the Collinsville community. As a result of that search warrant, we seized multiple firearms as well as multiple pounds of marijuana.
All right, and one individual was arrested or detained?
One individual is currently detained.
Okay.
It still remains an ongoing investigation. Some of the items seized as a result of his initial traffic stop will have to be sent to the Division of Forensic Science for analysis before we issue charges on him.
And speaking about that, one thing that we have to commend you on, and one thing that we were talking off camera, is being sure that when you share information, it's accurate. And a lot of this is fluid. You don't want to say that someone is charged, give their name out right now, and it turns out that maybe those presumed to be narcotics turn out to be something else.
That is correct. We're always going to do our due diligence and ensure that our facts are correct before releasing anything to the public. And this case is no different. So we'll send those items that we seize, those suspected narcotics, for laboratory analysis. When we get those definitive results back, we'll move forward with the charging process.
Sheriff, we've seen that you have fought the drugs pretty heavily, and now we're seeing that kind of walk us a little bit through the process of you requesting additional resources be funded by the Henry County Board of Supervisors, and how that went out and what is happening with that.
I think most people in Henry County would agree that for many years now that drugs have been a serious problem here in Martinsville and Henry County. Right. To the point it's affected the quality of life for nearly everyone who lives here in one capacity or another. Most people who live here have a friend or a family or loved one who suffer from drug addiction, and that's because of drug dealers. And so we have zero tolerance for drug dealers. But not only does it affect your friends, family, loved ones, but it affects everything. It affects retail commerce, potential economic development opportunities, and so we've really made targeting drug dealers priority #1, and we have zero tolerance for those who choose to sell drugs here. We've been very aggressive, and I feel like we've been very successful in our efforts thus far. With that being said, we'll never settle for what we've done yesterday or be status quo. We'll continue to look for ways to improve upon what we've already done and better serve this community. With that being said, early this year in our budgeting process, we went to the Board of Supervisors and the County Administration, and I asked for 3 dedicated positions to serve as a Narcotics Interdiction Unit, a Drug Interdiction Unit. And their job is, they're uniformed officers. They target high drug trafficking areas. They stop a lot of cars, and ultimately we seek to gain entry into those cars. We have narcotics detecting K9 as part of that team, and so we're going to be very aggressive in our efforts with that. I want everyone to know that if you choose to sell or traffic narcotics in Henry County, you're not safe, that we're looking for you every day, and we'll continue those efforts. But with that being said, we were granted 2 of the 3 positions we asked for. So we got that in place, and we launched that July 1st. And as you know, today is July 3rd. Yeah. And so I'm glad to say that as part of their efforts, so far, 3 days. In the past 3 days, a direct result of their work led us to the execution of the search warrant on Halifax Drive through a traffic stop they conducted earlier in the day, where they seized illegal narcotics on that traffic stop. On July 1st, their very first day, they conducted multiple traffic stops, and as a result of those traffic stops on day 1, we seized multiple ounces of cocaine, multiple ounces of fentanyl, wow, 3 illegal firearms, and over $12,000 in U.S. currency that were the proceeds from dealing drugs. So I do believe this is going to be a highly productive effort in solving the drug problem in our community.
So you would say that this is a great investment of taxpayers' dollars. Is it taxpayer dollars that is paying? Dollars. A great investment to clean up our streets, and this is proving it.
Absolutely. And I've been saying that since day 1, that if everyone here believes that drugs are the #1 problem, it's time for us to invest in fixing that problem.
All right, and talking about the effectiveness of that and going along with that, this is going to be an obvious answer from you, but we still have to ask it. Why such an emphasis, and we've talked a little bit about it, on drugs and getting those drug dealers off the streets and the drugs off the street as well?
Again, I think if you go out into this community, nearly everyone you talk to has been affected by drugs in one way or another. And so it's affected our community in so many ways. And so it's priority number one for us, because it's truly an opportunity for us as a law enforcement agency to make an impact in our community. And, you know, I really work to motivate our employees here and keep them engaged with the community and, you know, drive home that understanding that what they do today affects the quality of life for themselves, their families, and this entire community for days, weeks, months, and years to come.
Along with, again, the big focus of getting the drugs off the street, children are safer because they're not in reach of the children. Some areas are starting to see growth as far as renovations to home. What are other, I guess, aspects of life in Henry County that you have seen improve because of the work you guys are doing by removing, you know, these narcotics?
You know, I really feel like we're just getting started with this. Since July 1 of last year, we've executed well over 30 narcotic search warrants at drug dealers' homes across Henry County, nearly every corner of this county. And so I think it's made an impact. I think it's, I don't think we've solved the drug problem. I do think we have made drugs a little more scarce on the streets of Henry County, and I think that affects a lot of different things. I regularly get comments from our community that says, hey, you know, I feel a little safer to go here, or, you know, it's a little better to do this activity or that activity.
All right, Sheriff, in closing, if folks have any information in regards to narcotics in their communities, as you've always said, you don't expect them to get involved because that can be quite dangerous, but you do expect them to say something, because if you don't know that the problem is there, you can't start investigating it.
That is correct. It goes back to, if you see something, say something. Please report it to us. Let us know so we can take care of it. That can be done in a multitude of ways. Through the Martinsville-Henry County Crime Stoppers line. They can call the Martinsville-Henry County Dispatch Center and call straight here to the Sheriff's Office. You can message us on Facebook, and that's one of the new things we've tried to do, is really get interactive with our younger generation. So please feel free to message us on the Sheriff's Office Facebook page, as well as our new Citizen Connect portal that we launched last year. You can file tips anonymously online there as well.
All right, folks, so we wish you all a happy 4th of July. And again, if you see something, say something. We'll see you at the next one.